friendos, welcome back. Hey, Eben and Static and Samril. I'm pretty sure today's gonna be pretty chill. I mean, you say what you will about this game, it has been pretty chill. I think we only have about an hour left, and then my vague idea is maybe we'll switch over to some sewing so I can finish this damn Kirby. Although I have been working on it this afternoon, so we're not quite as behind as maybe I feel like I am. We could get there. We're almost there. We're getting close. We'll probably finish it in a sitting. And then be ready to wash it and back it next time. Alright. See that small brick building? Used to be an upholstery shop. Now it's inhabited by a very skilled taxidermist whose art is greatly in demand. When it was an upholstery shop, it didn't see nearly as much business. The old shop's name has been lost to time and weather. This was decades ago, and the only trace of it now is in the grade frame of an old sign behind the new lettering, which now reads Trapper, Stalker, and Sportsman. Then below, smaller, no specimen is too exotic, no arrangement too fanciful. I love and hate how this game just jumps right back into it. I like that for the feeling it gives me, but it makes it kind of weird, awkward to stream. Some of the upholstery equipment's still there too and still sees active use. Elise is the resident artist, although she's not the owner of the shop. I think we went with Ida last time. Ida has very little to do with the day-to-day. She's busy with other endeavors, mostly the restaurant she and her husband run on Lake Leith. Oh, right. Now we have the option of going in here or staying in the ship to look at the video archive. I really don't want to stay on the ship. Although I am interested. Go to the rum colony. Oh, that sucks, Static. Oh, actually, I suppose we haven't just started the last act. Maybe we have less than an hour to go. Yep, sounds like him. Our friend Cyrano is booked here tonight. He's pretty good. He's a wizard of the lap steel guitar. Are you two coming ashore? Oh, sure, we'll be up in a minute. You couldn't hold me back. Oh, I don't know. Kate says just to wander back whenever. This is a take it easy kind of stop. She doesn't even blow the foghorn around the crew here. No point. Something about this spot is like wax in the ear when it comes to timetables and responsibilities. I was supposed to meet someone here earlier tonight about some bike parts. I hope she's still around. Oh, I'm sure she is, ma'am. Half sleeping into a fragrant mug with all the other wayward sailors. Oof, this is gonna be a pain in the ass. Shannon finds a bottle. Its label's worn away, but the words Hot Hell Rum are legibly embossed on the glass. The bottle's empty except for a sleeping crab. This music is so sweet. Don't you think so? It's like a flower, I think. A delicious, heavy flower, like this flower in my drink. Makes my eyelids feel like petals, wet with early morning dew. Have you ever slept on the beach? Doesn't the sand get all everywhere? Oh, probably. I'll deal with that tomorrow. Certainly won't deal with it tonight. Tonight I'm just sipping this. I forget what it's called. They put a pale pink flower in it. Isn't that tranquil? Oh gosh, I'm so stressed out. What are you stressed about? Work, love, the weight of each approaching day. Everyone deserves to rest, don't you think? Sure we do. Someday the lake and the riverbed will be dry. The shops along it'll be bankrupt, the homes empty, the boats abandoned. See, even the river will rest. Why should we be any different? You know, my colleagues and I are meant to be celebrating something of a milestone here this evening. A milestone? It's true, well, it's kind of hard to explain. Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces, ever heard of it? Of course, I met you there earlier? Oh, of course. Good to see you again. Wait, now I remember. You came by to see Lula. I mean, Senior Clerk Chamberlain. Gibbs. No, Link. Whichever cat you are, stop it. Oh, our dear Lula. I mean, Miss Chamberlain. Tragically, she couldn't join us tonight. Jumped ship at the last minute, said she had packing to do. Wonder where she's going. Whew, all this conversation is making me lightheaded. I think I'll just shut my eyes a bit. Maybe just halfway. I'll listen to the water and the sweet music and the whispers of my colleagues' shop talk. Can you believe it? So working, always working. It's better, I think, to sleep. Better to sleep. Hello, happy to be in the here and now. I heard a shuffling. Are you dragging your feet or just enjoying the sand between your toes? Deep in thought, I guess. I think you have something weighing on you, and I respect you enough. I respect that enough not to press the subject. We're always being pressured to talk about our problems. It's all over the radio and the self-help section of the bookstore. But my ethos is just to sit with it, alone, inside of yourself. My spiritual advisor says, if something is boring after 2 minutes, try it for 4. And I think that applies to any other dissatisfaction just as well. I wanted to ask you something. Thought of it earlier, but it didn't seem like the right time. I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. You wanted to ask about my friend, the old man. Oh no, I think I read him pretty clearly. He's an outwards reflecting kind of person. I mean, he reflects the world back out, largely uncolored. You and I were inward reflecting, I think. It means we prefer to nurture the best and worst of ourselves in quiet and interior spaces. That's okay. Wouldn't you agree? Is that what you wanted to ask? No, it was... Oh, I forgot it now. Typical. Damn it. Shannon pulls a feather from the sand and brushes it clean. When she was a child, she collected feathers. Not the way a hobbyist collects trinkets, but the way a clump of dust collects more dust by static electricity. She deposited them in the kitchen table at the end of the day. Weaver's mother said it was unhygienic. Shannon's mother said it was the American germaphobe bullshit and put them in... Shannon's mother said that was American germaphobe bullshit and put them in a vase. Nice. An untouched drink sits on a table, forgotten or abandoned, or simply wasted. Nah, wasted. Oh boy. There she is. You have to try one of these flower drinks. I feel like I could drink 100 of them. Not too sweet, not too strong, you know? A real session drink. We'll be scraping you off the beach. Nah, it's not one of those. Not one of those really strong drinks. Just sorta... doesn't taste like a flower. I mean, not like a flower smells, you know? Perfumed, sickly sweet, like a star thistle flower. One of my first long-haul gigs ended in a crash. Did I tell you about that? Wasn't so bad, actually. I swerved to dodge some stray cattle, hit a stump on the side of the road, and flipped the trailer. The whole rig went twisting down into a muddy ditch. It was spring, and I blacked out. I don't think I hit anything. It was just the shock of it. Or maybe my brain bounced against the inside of my skull or something. Anyway, I woke up and I'd been thrown clear. Never worn a seatbelt since. Oh... why'd I bring that up? Star thistle. I woke up in a field of star thistle. The first thing I thought was, what are all these ugly flowers? More old stuff. I'm drowning in old stuff tonight. Feels like I got it I got it piled up around me like one of those old guys you hear about who never threw anything away. You know what I mean? Don't worry about all that stuff. Just try to stay in the here and now. Yeah, it's a nice idea, but I'll tell you what I'm learning tonight. I don't belong in the here and now. That check's been cashed. Sorry, I'm not making sense, am I? I just mean to say I can't look at anything without remembering something else, and then that reminds me of something else, and I'm buried in it. I just need to get my head clear for a minute. Get a clear view of the day. Get oriented. There was a time when I felt this way. I'd bite the bullet, try to sober up, get a job. Is that why you're gonna go work for the distillery? Maybe it is. Seems like a pretty simple answer, right? Just follow the work as long as you can. You got me all figured out. Hey, I'm gonna sit and look at the water for a minute. I'll talk to you later. Don't be a stranger. At first, Shannon mistakes the iridescent glimmer for a seashell washed up from the lake. Maybe some freshwater relative of abalone. Abalone? I'm sorry. Or even a pearl, but it was only a trading card. Must have been valuable to someone or it wouldn't be printed on this lustrous material. Whatever was on it had mostly worn away. All that's left is the shiny backing and the words, Gleaners Forward. I was gonna make a first edition Charizard joke, but now I just want to know what the... what the quote on the card probably was. I'm sure it was something real. Or referenced something real. I am so glad to see you. These kooks are bumming me out, man. You see that guy in the sand over there? He rolled up kind of off-center, you know, kind of leaning on the stage here, and he was like, what kind of strings are those? Steel or nylon? I'm sure you were cool about it. Oh yeah, it's mandatory around here, man. It's what the people want. I'm just a humble artist, you know? Plus, it's better for tips. You can't look like you care about it, you know? Even if it's your livelihood, crowd can smell economic precarity and it turns them off. I guess it's no fun to give someone money if they really need it. Too much responsibility. Hey, speaking of which, I'm about mid-set here. Can you take the can around while I play this next one? It's on the tape. I think you'll like it, man. Thanks. She didn't have to do that. It had to hurt. But that's the way it goes. The unsteady steadying the unsteady. There's probably a $5 bill somewhere just floating up and down the river from tip jar to musician to tip jar to musician like an eternal ferry of good intentions. Junebug! Hey! Guess who I just saw like an hour ago? That lady with the O. I don't even care. How are you, Patch? Aw, man, you know, Carl had that gig for a minute at House of T-Shirts, but they went out of business. If our numbers were better here, he could just work on his record and it'd be fine, but you know how it is. For now, he's selling flowers on the river. Say hi if you pass him. Hey, any of your friends want a drink? I got time. Busy night, but everyone's deep in their straws by now. What have you been mixing up? Let's see, what's good tonight? Potent Navy on the beach? What else you got? Iridescent devil. What's that like? 1 shot, 151 proof rum, 2 shots white rum, simple syrup. Let it sit for a while, throw a couple of olives on top. No drinks for us, thanks. Hey, did you hear the ice caps are melting? I mean, the polar ice caps, the ones all the way at the top. Don't listen to him, hun. He's all doom. Don't listen to him, hun. He's all doom and gloom tonight. Don't listen. That's the answer. Done. Well, what else can you do? Someday, all of this will be underwater. We're all drowned. What can you do? You can recycle. Half measures avail us nothing. Don't be a pessimist, Sonny. Have another Mai Tai. Oops. He's just in a dark mood because the bar's crowded. He likes to spread out. You know toxic runoff has decimated the deer population, right? Oh, no. That's what they said in a recent study anyway, and I believe them. Acid rain, you know? Useless any day now. Sure, I heard it in a recent study, so I take it as gospel. Worthless gospel, but gospel nonetheless. I'm trying not to think about it. Everyone should be. Sonny, you're insufferable. Toxic runoff. That's his latest rant. But I'm not surprised by anything anymore. Before this, it was bovine growth hormones and global warming. Nah, he's harmless. I just don't know him anymore, that's all. He takes bits and pieces of things he reads and synthesizes them all into some grand theory, and it's always the end of the world. But who could know that stuff, right? We can't even predict the weather. I mean, if you could take all these little pieces and predict how they're all gonna interact, you'd know everything. I'll tell you what I'd do with that kind of knowledge. When I first met a man, I'd look at his shoes and the kind of books he reads and what he eats for breakfast, and I'd make damn sure we weren't doomed to spend our twilight years greedily emptying Mai Tais and arguing about toxic runoff. Well, you know what they say about hindsight. Here's to a better yesterday. A styrofoam cup is half buried in the sand, miraculously intact. Still has some coffee in it. Maybe it came from the bar? Or maybe they weren't even headed to the bar originally, but drank their coffee too fast and needed a stiff counterbalance. Shannon thinks about the war of liquids in the stomach. Coffee to start a day, liquor to end it. Apple cider vinegar to patch up the battlefield. Her mouth feels dry. She thinks about all the nervous casualties of the liquid war, clumsy alchemists transmuting day into night. She thinks about a chalky, gray, pink liquid her mother kept for upset stomachs. That was stored in a coffee cup, too. Something glints black in the flashlight's beam. Shannon brushes sand off a damaged VHS tape. The smudged label on the spine reads, "Private. Do not watch, but do not erase." I want to take it so bad. The water is fine, invigorating, makes me want to run. I could gallop up and down this beach like a horse. I don't remember. I feel like I had voices for these people, but I don't remember them. What's he yelling about? He wants to run on the beach like a horse, he says. Oh dear, what's in these drinks? Your friend's laying in the sand over there. I think he's asleep. Poor Rick, he's a lightweight. I think he just drank too fast. It's easy to get carried away. He always gets so melancholy when he drinks. Remember the office picnic at that big flat rock? Oh, I remember. He was talking Lula's ear off. She slipped away. He sat on the ground, nursing that brown bottle, crying, sobbing about the days that are no more. Poor Rick. It'll never be. Invigorating! Catch anything, Lewis? So, did you find out what you were looking for? With Lula, I mean. Is she here? I'm not sure where she is, now that you mention it. Before we left the office, I think I will go for a run along the beach as soon as I'm finished with this drink. Try not to yell so loud, Lewis. I'm afraid you'll shake the ceiling loose. No? Shannon finds a small box, about the right size for an injured baby bird or a couple of mice. This box is only full of sand. She rolls a few grains in her fingertips. Feels different from the sand under her toes, finer and slicker. She has a feeling that this sand is from a different beach. Well, that was a pleasant detour. Yes, ma'am. Ready to get moving? How about you round up the old man if you can tear him free? A damp matchbook rests on top of the sand. Shannon flips it open without looking, runs her thumb across the cardboard, and finds one match still intact. She stares ahead, transfixed by the texture on her fingertips, and she wonders if it'll flake apart and leave her hands smelling and feeling like fire for the rest of the night. Or if the cold lake water has already washed away that part of the match, the part that smells and feels like fire. Now I'm interested in... because I swear I walked past that enough to have seen it if it was there. Maybe not. Oh, great. You're right about that. I never quite thought of it that way. Who are you talking to? Oh, nah, it's nothing. Hey, let's get out of here. Work to be done, right? Man, I feel bad for Conway, but I don't think we're gonna save him. No, you're probably right. It's easy to miss, but beneath that quarter-acre swarm of moths, that's Atticus domestica, the uncommon prominent diamondback moth. They make their homes near moving water. It's a quarter-acre sunflower orchard, and beneath that sunflower orchard, there's two small lots with small houses positioned so they just about butt right up against each other. The houses are empty now, a human life. There's no sign of a person or anything living except for moths and overgrowth. There's some pipes bolted into the cave wall near the perimeter, and a few stone scars where other pipes have been ripped away by scavengers. These once supported the large grow lamps that fed the sunflowers. Lamps are gone now. Once this crop of sunflowers is picked away, it's unlikely anything else will grow here but lichen, moss, and rock formations. The uncommon prominent diamondback moth will move on. The houses will be visible again, or at least until somebody strips them for building materials or the river washes them away. The houses were once inhabited by two sisters. Why they built their houses so close together or lived in any proximity at all is a mystery, since they clearly despised one another. It's possible that the neighboring houses were an attempt at reconciliation. Didn't work. If anything, close quarters just turned up the pressure until those decades of closely held resentments and animosities were pretty near to boiling over. All that energy had to go somewhere, and both sisters had the same idea. They took up gardening. They both cultivated sunflowers, an improbable crop for this location, too improbable to be coincidence. Maybe the sunflower had some special meaning for them? Or maybe when one sister saw her rival sowing the impossible seeds, she knew at once she couldn't bear to be outdone. Which sister had the greener thumb, we'll never know. The stalks tangled, the roots knotted, and the seeds mixed. Those gangly sunflowers merged the two lots into one undifferentiated field. The two sisters moved out, probably about the time the moths started showing up. Of course, there was no selling the lots then, overgrown and bug-chewed as they were. In fact, if those sisters ever tried to sell, they'd be in for a rude shock. Not long ago, a property tax clerk, having seen the two adjoining lots, registered the same last name, presumed they belonged to the same owner, and erased the legal border between them. Valkyrie and Blue lounged below deck. That one's tempting. Man, I'm so frustrated whenever I have days off after I've been really, really busy. I think it's because I can't let things go, like, physically until I'm off. I always have a headache. And it's such a waste of a friggin' day off. What? Damn it. While those two gentle beasts kept things under control aboard the Mucky Mammoth, I went ashore with the rest of the crew to make use of a public telephone. I called into my answering machine, which I routinely neglect for intervals of months, to chip away at the pile. Kate checked in on a client of hers. She's a birth doula, in addition to being a tugboat captain. Did you know that? Yeah, it really sucks, Heron. I'm happy that I like my job, and I'm most of the time happy to solve small problems at home, but I wish I had some backup. Starting to wish I had some backup. Clara talked to her sister in Lithuania. Illness in the family, I gather. Anyway, that evening hit a low point not much later on, so let's take a quiet moment here to listen to the river and reflect on the unburdened sleep of dogs. Man, I'm really curious what happened there now. I was teased, tempted by dogs. I mean, a function of my job is being on call, so... I used to do that when I had the ability to do it. Shannon, Ezra, the old man, and I stopped at the Radvansky Center to make some quick cash. Doing what? Actually, I can't be too upset. This cast has been wonderful. They've asked for things, but like small things like, can I get a blender? And I'm like, yes, sure can. They haven't had any too major problems. Good morning. Okay, who do we have? Bags isn't feeling well. Long night. Poor kitty. What are you watching? Security tape from last night. Daryl left the lights on again. Should we slash his tires? I'll leave a stern note on his desk. Spare the rod. What are we doing today? Right, this is weird. You know that old vending machine? The one that only has tomato juice? No. The old one that they just stopped refilling. Remember, we rolled it out onto the dock last August and some scavenger stripped it for metal in the middle of the night? Daryl cut his hand cleaning up after him and it got infected, remember? No? Okay. Anyway, the rest of it ended up in the coat room until finally Daryl was piling it into a big bag for the trash barge to pick up, and he came across this box lost behind all the junk. Check it out. This looks old. Yeah, there's a bunch of videotapes and completed questionnaires. I looked up the reference number and it's never been processed, so I guess that's what we're doing today. There's no date on it. We'll have to make one up unless there's some footage of a calendar or something in here. I guess these are old tests. Before we started doing video exit interviews? That's annoying. Yeah, let's see. How did we do this? I'll run the tape, you interpret the questionnaire, and I'll type it up? The modernist bookshelf with a fancy vintage turntable. So ostentatious. So Daryl. What? That was my bookshelf. Oh no! But you, like, grew out of it or something, right? It ended up in the lab somehow. I keep my books in a pile now. It's easier to find what I'm looking for. Never what shelf is that book on, only, well, it's somewhere in the pile. Pragmatic. Wow, I haven't seen that poster in a while. I think it was mine from college. Yeah, definitely. Oh, right. Daryl swapped it out in the redesign. Now it's... What's there now? Yeah, that's weird. I can't picture it. I mean, I can picture the wall, and there's definitely something hung there. Oh, that's gonna bug me. Want me to go look? It's just down the hall. No, it's okay. Just walk right through the lamp. That's fine. Okay. This should be some basic information. The first control test. Subject's general disposition? Oh, 6:57. I said 8:57 and I was very confused. Jen looks over the questionnaire document from the envelope. Question, why are you here? It's a scheduled ferry stop, not my final destination. Homesick. Demographic category? Question, what's the first thing you remember? I remember spilled orange juice. Immigrant. Do you think we should use the old categories or the new categories? Oh, right. Will the computer even still take the old ones? Well, they're still in the menu. Okay, in that case, put in precarious. Sure. Oh, I forgot. Name? It says Marquez on the file. Whoa, Marquez, are you sure? That's what it says. Do you know her? Well, that can't be. No, that's not her. Did she come alone or with a group? I don't know. There's an extended monitoring tape here, too. We could check on the doc when she showed up. Definitely not. Oh, she's traveling with one of those creepy distillery guys. Him? No, he just looks like some old drifter. Maybe you're right. It's hard to tell in this light. Oh, it's... Wait, who's that? That guy in the hoodie? What? I've never seen him before. Really? He looks so damn familiar. I thought maybe he was a former intern or something. He's a little old for that, right? No, I don't recognize him. Sorry. You're all deja vu this morning. It's spooky. Sorry, just one of those days, I guess. I guess the old man is on dinghy guard duty. A noble assignment. So who is this lady? Oh, right. Well, do you remember WEVP TV? No? Okay. It was a community television station. The Consolidated Power Company had to fund it as, like, punishment for owning too much of the broadcast spectrum or something. Oh, they used to screen your videos, right? Yeah, it was like a co-op. I did some maintenance. They gave me a slot to show my work. And they had that naked banjo guy late at night. Yep, that's mainly what everyone remembers. I guess their whole mandate was community expression. He was certainly expressive. Oh wait, was WEVP the one that... The flood, right? Yeah. Damn. So Shannon Marquez, did she have a naked banjo show too? What? No. Let me guess. Which of the following best sentences best describes you? I am haunted, unable to forget. She had an exercise show? No, I've never heard of Shannon Marquez. It was Weaver Marquez I knew. She worked at the station for a bit, and then she left on kind of weird terms, actually. Anyway, where were we? Okay, how do we rank her from the control test? Without turning around to look, please describe the following objects. I think the bookshelf has 4 shelves. Shaped like a snake. Reminds me of a department store. Poster. Felt like a blueprint. I have a poster in my workshop, a vintage advertisement for vacuum tubes. I think there was a lamp because we walked through it. Average, I guess. Average, okay. Oh, 5 shelves, boo. How many pictures did she remember? 2, or actually maybe 3? What? She wrote down orange, strawberry, guava. Guava? I think she meant the pear? See, that's why I hate this test. There's so much fruit that basically just looks like other fruit. Oh, guava. Does a guava even look like a pear, though? I don't think I've ever seen a guava. I thought they were pink. They're just pink on the inside. You wouldn't confuse a real guava for a real pear, but in one of Daryl's crude watercolors. Well, but I can still clearly tell that's a pear, even on video. Well, yeah, you and I can, but we already know it's a pear. She could be remembering wrong or just identifying what, to her, is a much more likely fruit to appear in a painting based on any number of cultural, social, geographic, you know. She didn't say anything in her response to help clarify? Let's see. Please describe in detail any sensations that accompany your memory of the pictures. I remember the way the fruit tastes. I've never had guava. My mother gave me some mushed up guava once to cure a toothache. Not really, just some sensory memories of guava. I guess we should just skip the pictures. That's a shame. It's really hard to measure memory degradation in some of the later tests without this one as a baseline location updating scenario. I've been saying we should just use photographs. Watercolor paintings already have the quality of a half-remembered dream anyway, like they're inviting you to forget them. Or somebody else already forgot them for you, like a mama bird feeding her chicks cotton candy. Photographs are... It's not that they're really more accurate or true, but we think they are. They put you in that mindset. They have authority. So yeah, out with the watercolors, I say. Oh, but then poor Daryl would have nowhere to exhibit his work. Jen, look who it is! Oh, I miss that kitty. I forget what became of the white one. Her name was Coconut, and she disappeared without a trace. Easy come, easy go? I wouldn't say easy. I had to leave food on the dock for a week before she'd come inside. She only stuck around for a month or two. Probably saw quite a lot of her. I remembered you were working nights then. She was a nocturnal creature. Ah, that's right, I remember. Oh, I can't, like, do anything with the cat? That sucks. Oh, is this cat food? Wait, I don't remember this test. Oh. Did we cut this one? What's the questionnaire like? No, this is just... Sometimes if I can't make it in for a few days, I might leave a note to feed the cats. For the test subjects? How do you know they'll do it? I write it on, university letterhead. Jen, that is unethical. At least I don't use university property and research equipment to make weird video art. Oh, very well then, I contradict myself. Wonder which is the nobler transgression. I'll settle that question. It's nobler to feed kitties. Oh, I can't go out. That sucks. Oh, okay, this is before the CD players. I hope she remembered to rewind. He never did, and Daryl would be in all night rolling these damn tapes back one by one on his little Walkman. He still has that thing. He says he uses it at the gym, but I think he's just too attached to his old mixtapes. He is so sentimental, our Daryl. These tapes had sounds from my apartment building. Did you know that? Oh, I thought it was stock sound effects from the library. Well, yeah, the CDs are, but when it was on tape, Daryl had me borrow a tape recorder from the music department and go collect them myself. He showed me a first draft of the questionnaire. I think some of them are still in there, like, what were you thinking about immediately before listening to the tape? I was thinking about my job. After the tape ended, how quickly did your thoughts return to that subject? Never really stopped thinking about it. Right, I don't really get the point of that question. I think it's just there to set a baseline for the introspection index. So all the doors opening and closing, are they all from your apartment? Most of them, yeah. Others are from the basement. We have these rows of storage closets down there. None of them are locked or anything. It's just like this weird row of doors. They're not even marked or differentiated. You have to keep count as you go and remember which one is yours. Mine's number 8. I went down there a little tipsy once. Sunday cleaning, you know, a few glasses of wine. Anyway, I accidentally opened number 9 and it was full of mice, like for a computer. I mean, they were all neatly arranged on shelves, organized by some inscrutable quality, cables tied with Velcro. The neighborhood mouse hoarder. A collector, I think. I guess he lived next door?
Another month you've failed to get rid of me.
Thank you so much, Beanie, for 31 months. What the hell? How can I have failed again so many times? I told Daryl we should add a question, something like, while listening to the tape recordings of doors opening, at any point did you have any expectation or visualization about what might be on the other side of one of those doors? Please write it down. The last door sounded like a kitchen door. Oh, I was just curious, I guess. Since it was from my building, like, I had a strong sense of where these doors lead just by hearing them, but is that just from my memory, or is it inherent in the sound somewhere? Interesting. You should write a grant proposal. I wouldn't want to step on any toes. You know, university politics. Oh, here's another extended monitoring tape from the waiting room. Nah. I'm not super interested in computer peripherals. I don't know why. I don't know why they excite me less than gaming peripherals. Busy night. Here he is again, sleeping. Where do I know him from? It's gonna drive me up a wall. Does he work at the university? Oh, that sounds familiar. I think he might have worked there a long time ago. Maybe when I was an undergrad? Ah, the Paleolithic. Thought he looked a bit rugged. That's right, Jen. I went to college during the Stone Age. What was your major? Fire. I don't think he was a professor. Maybe staff? It's been so long. Sometimes I wish I just barreled through like you did instead of taking time off before grad school. I'm sure it was the right thing to do at the time. Yeah, or the only thing. Such a mess. Did I ever tell you about that? My boyfriend died suddenly in my last year of college. Oh, poor thing. It's okay. It was a long time ago, but yeah, it really shook me up back then. He was studying aviation. We were both really into experimental music. We took a few art classes together. That's so sad. Sorry, never mind. No, it's okay. That's the thing, actually. I mean, that's what shook me up about it. It was just this random accident that never should have happened, and so sudden you never could have seen it coming. He was back home visiting his parents, and he fell off a roof. Oh. I was wondering where we were going with this, and now I know. Damn. I know what you mean. You can't predict that kind of, what do you call it, freak accident kind of thing? My psychiatrist says that's why I'm such a pessimist. Well, I think you're remarkably upbeat, all things considered. I mean, you know, that thing with your boyfriend and the roof, and also what happened at the TV station. Acts of God. You think? No, I mean, that's what you call it. That's what you say when it's nobody's fault. Speaking of the TV station, you were saying something earlier about that other Marquez girl? Oh, right. I was talking about Weaver. Yeah, what exactly happened with her? You said she left on weird terms? Oh, yeah, well, she actually just stopped showing up. That was pretty normal. It was all volunteers, right? Community television? Yeah, people didn't really give much advance notice. They just got bored and drifted away. It was more like an art project than a job for most people. Weaver Marquez helped manage the archives, like filling and sorting old tapes of broadcasts. I think she was pretty smart. She probably could have been more help fixing equipment or something, but she seemed content just to organize tapes. We never talked to her much, so when she left, no big deal. But then a couple months later, we started getting these bizarre interventions. Please consider a particular moment earlier in the day or evening. Write down where you were, what you were doing, and who else was present. I guess we should probably try to explore this part more. I was in a shop, alone. I saw a strange broadcast. My cousin was on TV. For the remainder of the test, we will refer to that moment as the episode. Someone would be doing a show in their normal time slot, and then suddenly the feed would cut. We'd still be broadcasting, but our signal was totally jammed. Oh, like interference? I mean total blackout. Then this video would come on, clearly shot in our studio at some point, and it was her, Weaver Marquez. She'd be standing in the middle of the studio facing the camera. It's a bit fuzzy in my memory, but I do remember the sound, this awful hum. Like that was how she did it. She made a hum so sinister it drove our signal into hiding. As you read the first marked passage, an excerpt from Door Jam Design, Repair, and Cleaning by R. Gross. Please take note of any new details you recall from the episode and at what point in the text they are recalled to you. The author used a metaphor I hadn't heard before. Cleaner than a stopped clock. I thought of how messy my shop was when I left it and how I won't be able to go clean it up now. There were these on-screen captions, exactly the same every time. I don't remember what they said. Something creepy. Wow. We had a title maker at the station, but it was a different font. I guess she recorded it at WEVP and then took it somewhere else to add the captions? I don't know. We did a lot of speculating about how she made the video, why she made the video. Yeah, and why not just broadcast it normally? Like, it was community television, right? Couldn't be worse than the naked banjo guy. Yeah, exactly. Some people thought it was a protest or something, but I know she didn't have anything against the station. To me, it felt like kind of urgent. Like she would have done her broadcast through the proper channels, but something came up, a crisis or something. The second marked passage is a poem by N. Shield called 3 Views Through a Door. As you read this passage, please again write down any new details you recall from the experience. When I read the stanza about watching the rain through the doorway, I remembered the sound of the strange broadcast. The hum took over everything, even the traffic and birds outside. How often did it happen? A lot. Dozens of times. It went on for years. We even thought about asking the police to look into it, but it's so hard to locate a pirate signal. I mean, it could have come from any direction, you know? It's all just... waves. That was cool. Exactly. The third marked passage is a reproduction of A Caller's Guide to the Etiquette of Closed Doors, a pamphlet published anonymously sometime in the 19th century. Again, write down any new details of the episode that are recalled to you while reading this text. The text said something about how long to wait. Not to wait too long at a closed door. I need to see this through. Weaver's video showed up again right before the flood. Actually, I think it might have been the last thing we ever broadcast. It's your friend again, and Coconut. Oh, he seems relaxed. Wise Will, I can't believe it. What? That's what we called him. God, it's been a million years. He did work at the university when I was an undergrad. He'd hung around the music department, but he was sort of a general technician. He'd fix the PA, run the soundboard during student theater productions, stuff like that. Student theater productions? Is there something you want to tell me, Mimi? Oh no, I was just in the audience. They did some interesting stuff back then in the Paleolithic. So he would shake the rain stick and crank the dry ice machine? Why do you call him Wise Will? Oh, he was chatty. He'd tell you all about the school's architecture, local history, county politics, gossip, folk remedies. Like they were all part of the same thing. I always wondered what happened to him. Huh. Well, now you know. He's part of our data. Yeah, just another data point floating down the echo. I don't think we're dead, or any more dead than we were before. Who's she talking to? Well, the test subjects are supposed to be talking to each other, so we can compare their recall fidelity before and after the phone conversation. Well, that's what I mean. He's not even on the phone. She didn't fill out the questionnaire either. What did he write? He just drew a picture of the cat. Okay, maybe she misdialed? She's been on the line for a minute, though. Is there tape? Of her conversation, I mean. Yeah, let's check it out. Ah, yeah, that's my number, all right. You dialed correctly, but I'm not part of any research study. Hey, I'll tell you what, the phones have been bananas around here lately. I think the phone company's understaffed or someone's asleep at the switchboard. Pretty early, after all. I get up earlier than most. I gotta do my deltoid regimen and then cool down for a bit before my morning swim. You know how it is. Sure don't. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you hang up and try dialing again? Hit the buttons real hard if you can. Maybe you'll wake them up and they'll connect you right. Yep, hello, you got me again. I'll tell you what, suits me just fine. My delts are cooling and the coffee's brewing. I'm just sitting here looking out the window anyway. Into the dark, I mean, the sun ain't even up. Oh, sorry to bother you, I should go. It's no bother. I'll tell you what, it's nice to hear another voice before the sun's up and no one that isn't making excuses or demands. You may have guessed now, but I'm a... Say, why don't you guess? Not guess, deduce. Take a closer listen to my voice, and let's see what you think you can know about me. I mean, what do I look like? What do I do? And so on. Then I'll try you. Let me give you something to work with. What should I say? A phrase you can listen to and analyze. Oh, God, did I say all of these to Conway? No. Conway said all of these, yeah. I picked all of these, and Conway said all of them. I like birds. Birds like trees. Got it? Okay, what do you think? What kind of body makes a voice like that? You're strong, about 6 feet tall. Can you hear what my teeth are like? You should be able to hear that. Every word I say has got to go right by them. You have a warm smile. Warm like the noon sun. What about a job? What do you guess my job is? Two out of 3 ain't bad. I'll tell you what, I'll do a little deduction of my own and speculate that you're sharp. At the very least, I'd say you love art, or any way you tolerate it. I'm certain you're some kind of professional driver. If you aren't, then I don't know a thing. How'd I do? Got a couple parts right. Well, it ain't a science. We're just trying to get in the neighborhood. I'm an orthopedic physical therapist by trade, specializing in post-surgical rehabilitation, and I do all my intake interviews over the phone because I believe you can get a pretty damned accurate picture of someone's general health just by interfacing with them verbally. Now, many of my colleagues disagree. They think that the body is the body and the mind is the mind. Well, I'll tell you what. Having worked in this field for nearly 3 decades, I have seen all manner of evidence. I'm no longer sure I believe in the mind at all. Let me give you an example. I had a patient who lost his right hand to misadventure and infection. He worked in a factory, operating a delicate machine that required years of specialized training, so we focused on coordination and getting his left hand up to the speed and accuracy required for the work. And I'll tell you what, after a couple weeks he was writing, throwing darts, you name it, all left-handed. A triumph of physical therapy. Back to work. The next day, he was unemployed. Seems like he sat in front of that delicate machine, reached out with his left hand, and just froze. Had no idea what to do with the thing. Next time he was in my office, he said to me, "Doc, when I lost that hand, all my memory of working that machine went along with it." He said, "I'll tell you what, Doc, if I ever learn a trade again, I'll learn it in my gut. I won't ever put something so precious as a memory in a place so vulnerable as a hand." Well, my coffee's done brewing. I'll let you go. Oh, look, can you read the date? Damn, I can't read it either. It may not even have been current. I remember for a while we had a calendar up that was like years behind. I think Daryl liked the picture. What was it? Best friends. Every month there was a different pair of animals that were friends. Oh, that's adorable. I think I'm gonna be sick. You don't remember that? That weird intern brought it in from home. What was his name? Who? Oh, you remember. He was always like, I mean, we would make fun of him for. Damn, he's almost completely gone from my brain. So many interns coming and going. I guess I didn't bother remembering their names. I wonder who was working back then when this was recorded. Is there a tape of the monitoring room? Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh, before we check that out, did she flip the calendar forward or backward? Backwards. Oh, weird. They usually flip it forward. I don't know how to answer that, Crunk. Yeah. It certainly doesn't seem as snobby as I expected it to. A game with this much writing and this much fluffy writing. I feel like I have a lot of points where I really connect to it in a way that I don't expect. I don't really expect from games with choices, dialogue choices. There she goes. Wait, do you think... Did she follow them out? Oh, well, here's the last extended monitoring tape from the dock when they left. See, I told you he was one of those distillery guys. I guess you were right. These other guys came to pick him up for work, maybe? I don't like how they all hang out together. It's creepy. We hang out together and we work together. Well, yeah, but it's not... They're like more than coworkers. I don't know. I just get this awful feeling whenever I see them. Like I knew them once, but not anymore. Like when they make up a dead person to look like an old photograph of themselves. Sort of familiar, sort of strange. Yeah, exactly. There ought to be a word for that. Bye, kitty. They look like nice enough people. I'm sure she's very happy with them. Yeah. So, this has been a bit of a memory trip for you, huh? I bet you didn't expect these old tapes to stir up so much. How does it feel for these people to come up again? Weaver Marquez and Wise Will, and I mean, what was your boyfriend's name? The one who died in college? Charlie. Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet experience, actually. Charlie, in case you didn't get that already. Like looking at photographs of people who died or moved away, people that are gone. Gone but not forgotten. No, not forgotten, you're right. Look at those easels and tables on the bench over there. They call it an open-air gallery or probably something more upscale like al fresco galleria. They say it's a popular design in foreign cities like Paris and New York. Maybe true. The appeal is clear enough, I guess. Anyone can wander in and out. There aren't any walls or doors. There's no roof either, just kind of thin cloth membrane. Not quite a sheet or a tarp, but more like a drape of rolled out spiderweb, looking like it might bunch up and dissolve if it ever got rained on. No concern down here for rain. Everyone thinks they're inside just because they can't see the sky, but it's a microclimate down here, and it surely does rain. Right now they're exhibiting some intimate photographs of small town life. There's one of a small girl playing in a puddle. She's got her back to the camera and she's fussing with something, looking at her hands. Maybe she's stuffing a message in a bottle or folding a paper boat. Reviews have been good. It's a popular show, probably because of its relevance. The town depicted in these photos was very recently flattened to make way for a big museum project. Hey. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions: no smoking within 25 feet of hospital entrance. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. Plurosibella porigens. The common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture and they're tasty, like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Sweet moss doesn't sound very tasty to me. Personally, I like to be able to tell where my food came from by flavor alone. I like to taste my surroundings. I mean, it keeps me connected to the whole thing. My mushroom hunting mentor told me, it's useless to pretend you know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. The more you feel them, the more you know them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. She taps the cover of the small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see the sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalliotes. That's Greek. Amanita means mushroom, and phallodius means big dick. Can you eat it? Only once. It's deadly poisonous. Death cap, that's the common name. It's killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's revolutionary. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom, and he was very old. That's just what they do. Clear away old things and make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Great, actually, just grab any mushroom that catches your eye and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done, and we'll see what we've got. Have fun! That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Kate examines some tree roots. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of a tree, a speckled white ball and a cluster of softly glowing amber caps. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. Ezra pokes around the base of a cypress tree. A brownish clump of mushrooms feathers out from the base of the cypress tree. A few feet above, several pale blue puffs cling to the trunk. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night and then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day, while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. The woods were full of deer. His dad said the deer liked best to live in the edges of the forest. Recent development in the area had created a lot of fresh edges, so they massed here and sometimes ran into the road. Ezra examines the blue puffs. He prods one of the pale orbs of the stick and it cracks open a little, releasing a fine dust into the air. He felt like the world outside the woods had somehow slipped away while he was gone, and now there was nothing but the woods. He kept going. Ezra carefully removes a puffball, then puts it in his bag. Ezra investigates a rotten stump. The stump is ringed with overlapping shelves of mushrooms striped brown, blue, gray, white. A caterpillar crawls along one of them. He didn't have any friends nearby. None of their new neighbors seemed to have children his age, so he played alone in the woods. Alone. Except for the deer. Ezra inspects the mushrooms. It smells spicy, sweet, mild, like how Ezra expected his father's tobacco to taste, and when he hastily chewed and swallowed a noxious fistful, he spent the afternoon retching in secret. He heard someone calling his name, probably his mother, but her voice didn't sound right through the trees. He kept going. Ezra tears off a piece of this mushroom and puts it in his bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside a hospital. Kate examines the glowing amber caps. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. Kate cuts the bundle of mushrooms from the tree roots and puts them in her bag. Kate tries to wipe some mud off her boot. Oh, that looks like quite the haul. Let's see what you've got. Oh, fuck. He tripped, and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, as his hair stood on end, and there was the bird. Ezra hands Kate the striped mushroom he took from the tree stump. Oh great, this is called a turkey tail. Delicious and good for the immune system. Ezra hands Kate the blue puffball he took from the cypress tree. A blue puffball. Interesting. I don't think I've seen this exact species before. This one's too old to be of any use anyway. Puffballs get all dried out like this as they age, until they're so delicate that it only takes the slightest agitation. Kate gently shakes the puffball. It bursts into a cloud of spores. And the wind does the rest. See, it's weakness as a survival strategy. A kind of radical, transformative weakness. I just found this one. Kate takes the bundle of amber caps from her bag. These ones are really cool. See how they kind of glow a little? It's not enough to find your way in the dark or anything, but still pretty amazing. Anyway, I made a tea out of them. Pretty good for headaches. Could use that. Kate puts the mushrooms back in her bag. You have a brother out there somewhere? Julian, he's gonna come find me in the morning after the work is done. Yep, we work pretty hard. We used to spend part of each night looking for my folks, but now we pretty much just work. But maybe that'll change now. I have some new friends. Do you have a family? Ooh. I almost had a baby once. Got very sick, and the only thing that helped me was a funny-looking mushroom called collared earth star. Basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. What's this island for? It looks like someone made it on purpose. Oh, right, it's a kind of a nice, simple shape, pleasantly minimal island geometry. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly bullshit, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling. Spiritual, even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. I'm sure it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something? Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Ezra examines a large stone monument. The monument's covered with lichen and painted text. Ezra reads the text. Rock graffiti, X+O for Eva. Ezra investigates. Oh, let's see. Ezra looks around the shore. Ezra examines the wooden post. A groove is worn near the top of the post. All right, what have you got? Well, that stone-faced monument has X+O for Eva painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? Or they could be initials. Xavier and Olivia forever. Xerxes and Oliver. What do you think that monument's for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. There's a pole in the ground over there. It's all scratched up. Oh yeah, I bet people tie their boats there. Maybe somebody who takes care of the trees. Could be your other travelers or mushroom hunters like us. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look up at an old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. Stuff. I don't know much about it firsthand, but I've heard things. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while. The one with the little arcade, with the car game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rear view, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared, but he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above the clouds. I've heard it was in the Civil War. I guess they had boats full of soldiers and supplies going up and down the Ohio River, and they fought on the river, like boat to boat with cannons or something, I guess. Machine guns? I'm no military historian, as you can probably tell. Anyway, I guess this one just got lost and somehow ended up all the way down here. Maybe it slipped into a cave up north? They're all connected underground. There's another version of the story where it didn't get lost. It was full of deserters. They camped out here to hide. Maybe that's why it's called a pariah? Supposedly there's nobody aboard, no people, I mean. There must be something on there. Life is everywhere, right? Rats, insects, some kind of hardy mold. Part of it could be flooded and hosts some of the eyeless fish that live in the Echo. Maybe there's some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. More mysteries. They do pile up over time as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt them. Well, that's interesting. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made, and the rocks weren't placed according to their size, so what's visible is more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. Looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump that was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should just go with Lock or Luck, or split the difference with Look, or even Lick, or really anything else, but it was never going to happen. Greta Luck and Norm Locke were high school sweethearts. They took a chemistry class together where she challenged him to shoot the moon, learning formulae and compounds well enough to answer every test question exactly wrong and achieve a perfect failing grade. Their engagement was welcome news for the family businesses who'd been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. The Locks ran a busy printing press, and the Lucks managed a fleet of bicycle couriers. The natural next step was to start a local paper that would become the Echo River Evening Record. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory. It must have somehow involved these rocks. Maybe they walked around them in a spiral, like the symbol of their ever-tightening bond. And it must have involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Shannon and her friends set out in the dinghy to deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Well, this has already taken longer than I expected. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. I usually send Will, but he's up to his elbows in mammoth grease right now, so you pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the Bat Sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's the operator. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. You can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, bye! I don't know how to go faster. Hey, Elizabeth, thank you so much. I was trying to be a little spicy today. I don't think I'm actually controlling the boat. Well, those are mining helmets. I don't understand if I'm controlling the boat. We claim these helmets in the names of the folk who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers' and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we will never find. And so we guess the water buried them for us, so let this here be the marker for their grave. If any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Hey, Elkhorn. That's the mine we met in, where your folks, worked. Looks like it's been here a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it is still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that. No, I guess you probably don't. It probably stirs up... I mean, how do you... It's fine. I'm glad this is here. People should remember this happened. Oh, here we are, remembering. And I didn't even know it the first time around, but here I am remembering it now, and that's a fine memorial, I guess. Oh, does the boat move forward faster when I stop fucking trying to play with a fucking flashlight? Probably. Okay, we're just gonna... Okay. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Just... Sometimes I forget I don't even really know you that well. Yeah, well, that makes two of us. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one said to me earlier they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on a plan, consolidated. That sounds like a really bad idea. I don't know, they seem to have a lot of experience with this kind of stuff. They got a whole process figured out. Anyway, I have a feeling it'll work out. Even for me? Hey, why not? Seems like we're getting pretty close to finding your cousin, right? And besides that, you're young and smart. Plenty of time to bounce back from... whatever. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lisette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Liz got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did. Or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery, and now that the antique shop is closing up, I've got no use for the old truck. I was thinking maybe you could take it. I could keep an eye on it for you until you get straightened out. Sure. Okay. Sounds good. Visitors to the Echo River Nomadic River Bat Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The nomadic river bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of those ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millions of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be a poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. Wonder how the other bats know when one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. Sometimes it's hard to know with people, too. Oh yeah, like how about this weather? Guess there's layers to it, right? Sometimes you just need to get the other person talking so you can check their body language or hear what their voice sounds like, find out if they're friendly or angry or drunk. You dying, Grid? The nomadic river bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths that we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects in the nomadic river bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the nomadic river bat normally hunts to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River, the shore of Lake Leith. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect that precious guano here at the hibernaculum and manually distribute it throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. They eat fake moths? Yeah. Hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, the little gray nothing moth? A lot of people eat fake food, right? Food taken apart and put back together so it looks and tastes like something they remember eating before, even if they never really did. Right. Kinda bothers me, like they're tricking the bats. Yeah, in this case I think it's about survival. I mean, that's the bottom line. What's the difference? Like the folks in the mine, you said they used to buy stuff. Fans, canaries, all these little trinkets to make it bearable. There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered, but human. I just mean all people need is enough to pretend we're home, and we can make it anywhere. You get kind of philosophical when you're drinking. Did anyone ever tell you that? Yeah, I guess I do. Ah, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who'd get loaded and tell me the weirdest damn riddles, like, which is more musical, a truck passing by a factory or a truck passing by a music school? Count your blessings. White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth, which appears on bats' faces and wings, irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly and is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are so sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the nomadic river bat be two more lost species, wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River nomadic bat hibernaculum and sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. Right, Evan? Yeah, every time they said that, I was like, oh, I see. I gotcha. I don't have enough money to be sick with that, but, you know, we can dream. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. You too. Try not to make any more bad deals while I'm gone. I'll just be floating along down here. I just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. Oh, hi. I remember you. I don't remember Flora. Was she an intern for the computer guy? Do you know where the telephone exchange operator is? I don't know what that means. I'm just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic. What does that mean to you? It means I like poems and rivers and mysteries. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. If your circuit's too noisy, you should tie those floating pins to ground. That's a pretty good idea. They're probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiell Morse, pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack? I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself. I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true. They had bats then, too, but they were considered a nuisance. What happened to it? Well, the river shifted, and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. Does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned there as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. Missed that, actually. They were easier to climb. Just as well, I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room for the new WEVP folks. WEVP, that's community television. I volunteered there for a number of years. I know everyone over there. Ralph, Sherry, Weaver, Dave. Weaver Marquez? Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny, I was just thinking about her. I met her a couple times at the TV station. Suppose I don't know her too well. She handled the archives and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail shop there. They don't have a sign or anything. Just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. Abel and Eloise, the lovers' couriers. Ugh. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft. But old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby, to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation, and that's where we left them. I just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie, thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does the parcel claim to be from? That's weird, there's no label on it. Well, if we're lucky, it's chocolates from a secret admirer, not a snake from an assassin. So who are you? Do you work with the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? I'm just doing Kate a favor, dropping off this package. Kate! I love Kate! She helped deliver both my nieces, one in a hospital and one at the base of a mossy moonlit oak. It was beautiful. I love Kate. I think Loretta's granddaughter used her too. Oh, Loretta used to work here. Actually, I think quite a few of our former operators have relied sometime on Kate's services. Well, now I guess they'll have more time with their little ones. As you can see, all their chairs are empty. Wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college. Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jana, Sashiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing, and they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Lois left one Friday evening and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. They had Jenna and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sashiko and Wilma were moved to energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with the smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Sounded pretty good to me. He's got the voltage too high. He'll burn out the relay. So where was I? Extended switchboard technique. Oh, it was all about the timing your breath. Some girls got lightheaded doing too many calls in a row with that upbeat dynamic inflection they made us use to keep everything intelligible. It was very physical. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. Are you lonely? Sure. This place feels different when it's empty, cold to the touch. And you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is a touch. When we're talking, we're touching. Even on the phone, that's an electric touch, an intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around the specific tempo of its human operators. So short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all of the wiring they'd have to work out, the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that, officially, is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. Once a work of 12, I'd like to remind you. They have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. Caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator lights switch on, and I make the connection. Do you miss talking to callers? You know, there's something that bothers me about the process, besides the fact that I'm training my replacement who isn't even human. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it should take to time my every move and recreate that timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. Maybe a week? That's what I said, but this has been going on for over a year. And a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper to just keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? Why don't you just quit? In this economy? No, you're probably right. Working in silence for peanut shells, waiting to be replaced by a robot, doesn't sound very dignified, does it? The reality is that I've been working here my whole adult life. I came here as a girl, and I'll leave as a middle-aged woman. I don't know if I'm ready to be her yet. Oh, the parcel. Right over there by the lamp is fine. Thank you for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. Damn it. See, I didn't even find, like, I was never a telephone operator. I worked at a, you know, I sold tickets on the phones, but I didn't even find it easy physically. I thought sitting was going to be great all day after jobs and jobs and jobs of standing and hurting my back and hurting my legs and hurting my everything. But it just hurt me differently. If I couldn't get up regularly to go take a walk, it just hurt. It hurt me just as bad, just different. She returned on the dinghy alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. Ooh, I remember talking about the flower salesman. She met a flower salesman on a raft. They floated alongside in buoyant pots, bobbing untethered. He corralled them with a long pole and a stream of small adjustments. She made small talk. He was alert and easygoing. His day was just beginning. He used to work at House of T-Shirts, but it closed down. When he wasn't selling flowers, he'd hang out by the highway and listen to the sounds the cars made, study them carefully, then learn to reproduce them with his own voice. He was working on a record. He drifted away with the current, pushing his flowers along with the raft. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog. He said they took turns. The water was cold, and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for both of them. Swimming is hard work, the hardest work that dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of a thin rope. Floated pretty well, so we only had to keep an eye on it and occasionally free it from a rock or some driftwood it was caught on. She invited him to ride a ways on the dinghy. He appreciated the offer, but they weren't in a hurry. She met a painter of shipwrecks. He never worked from photographs, so his paintings could be divided into 2 categories. There were the ones he painted from life, and the Echo River was a very good source of these because its currents were so unpredictable and the tunnels so dark. He rendered those in oil paints by lamplight, working for hours cross-legged on the porch of his houseboat/studio. Then there were the ones he painted from memory, mostly the memory of a single wreck he encountered as a much younger man, picking up litter where the coastal highway cleaves to the rocky beaches of Northern California. These were done in watercolor. He preferred to work on them in the morning, in a room he rented near the airport in Louisville. He had some postcard-sized sketches in charcoal, too, of the Iron Pariah. It wasn't a wreck exactly, but it felt right. He tried to scribble one down every time he encountered it, though it was so unpredictable, he was so focused on details. He usually just ended up with a handful of inscrutable marks. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while. Then she knew what she'd been craving. A moment of silence. Ooh. Just didn't think we were ever gonna come here. I thought that was too far in the past. Oh wait, Sam and Ida's not Lisette and Ira. I got confused. Just in time. We already finished eating, but we're about to place a to-go order for Clara. She's back on board, getting ready for a show. Take a look at the menu. I'm sure there's something you'll like. Ida's a bit of a local celebrity. For her cooking, I mean. Hey, Ezra was just asking about you. He's around the corner playing a video game. Maybe go let him know you're back? Or... where's the old man, anyway? Aw, bad luck. You'll get it next time. Hey, got a quarter? He's almost got this. It's true! I have 1 quarter. Thank you. So where's... they took him. Damn, yeah, he really got himself into a situation there. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit down. Well, the food is good here. I think everyone else is finishing up, but you could probably get something to go. Alright, Claw Maestro, let's give it another shot. So let's see what's on top of the pile here. There's a stuffed octopus, a plastic bag full of clamshells, a cowboy hat, and some big headphones. The octopus has a leg wrapped around the boombox underneath it. The shells are pretty clear, but I don't know if the claw can really grip the bag well. Cowboy hat's in the corner, so it's kind of tricky to tell if it's wedged in or not. Those headphones might be a good bet, but I can't see the cord. It could be wrapped around something. What are you going to try for? I want the octopus. All right. I admire your confidence. Okay, when I put this quarter in, you'll have about 8 seconds to grab your prize. The octopus is square in the middle. Let me know if you need help lining it up. I've got a slightly different view of the field from up here. Ready? Here we go. Johnny inserts the coin and the machine awakens. The claw hovers in the front left corner of the machine. Oh, God. Front left corner of the machine. The claw drops. It grabs the octopus. Aw, the octopus is attached too securely to the plastic boombox beneath it. It slips from the claw's grasp. Ah, no good. I had a feeling the octopus was a little too comfortable in there. Hey, listen. Sounds like that old man you were following around. I guess he had to leave. Is he okay? Yeah, he's okay. I mean, I'm sure he could be better, but I don't think we need to worry about him. Anyway, I don't know what kind of plans you have now, but if you need help figuring out your next move, you can always talk to me and Miss Junebug. I just want to make sure you know that. Can I keep going with you? Hey, I've got no objection. We have a pretty ad hoc thing going on, me and Junebug. I'd have to talk with her, but I bet you're welcome to tag along for a while if you're into it. Maybe we still have time to poke around this place a little. They have some pretty wild stuff in here. Hey, did you see this? They keep a table full of fake food over here. I've never known why. Actually, I think it might be real food, coated with shellac or something. Preserved. And oh, look, this tentacle-looking thing is half-eaten. This is someone's meal that they didn't finish? Tentacle, gross. Man, I don't know. Some people really like the stuff. I had fried calamari once at a gas station. It's pretty good, but I stripped a gear trying to chew on the beak. They're supposed to take that out. If Sam and I to preserve this half-eaten meal, it must have been pretty important to them, right? Maybe it belonged to someone they care about? Like a beloved uncle had a mid-meal stroke, so they kept it in his memory? Yeah, like those sunflower seeds my folks left behind. Oh, I'm sure your folks are fine, though. Are you worried about them? Yeah, it's weird that they just disappeared. Yeah, listen, it's okay to be worried. You're doing fine. Weird. Somehow I thought it was his truck and delivery and all. Well, it was. That's what she's saying. But he gave it to her before they took him away. But you're gonna deliver it anyway? Why? Damn it. He's my friend. He needs my help to finish his job. That's right. He's our friend too. Johnny and I'll help you unload when we get there. Lift with your legs, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. So, how was everything? How was the sweet cave snail? Devastating. You're a killer, Ida. Well, I can't take all the credit. Sam came across a whole cave snail colony down there about a year back. We've been leaving rock candy for him to gorge on since. Just started harvesting earlier this month. Oh, it's all about patience down here. Everything grows more slowly in the dark. There's a fish in Lake Leith that lives for 200 years, and its flavor profile only develops at about 75. I got a pot of bones in there that's been stewing for at least a week. I don't even remember where I put them on. Come to think of it, I don't remember what kind of bones they are. Oh, we need for the one for the road. Clara said she wanted, something primordial, she said. What does that mean? Kate reviews the menu. I think she meant something from very deep in the lake. Ah, could be. Here, you pick. I'm no good at this. What about... So many choices. Aged blind cave fish and small salad? Good choice. Your friend will love it. I'll have that right out, sweetie. Ezra leans over the table and carefully examines the preserved food and drink. Gently compresses a pea-sized eyeball on a plate. The eye is hard like glass. Oh, you like candied fish eye? Most kids are repulsed just looking at them, which is a shame because they're really delicious. I have a bowl of them in the kitchen. I'll bring some out. Sorry I startled you, sweetie. Why didn't they finish their meal? Well, they had more than twice as much food as they really needed, so even half was too much. This food is about 15 years old. It's true. Things are different then. Nobody came in to eat here. We were fighting just to keep the lights on. Sam, my husband... Sam was depressed. He couldn't catch anything. That was part of the problem. Most of what we served was shipped in frozen or dried, and I just threw it in the fryer. We both came a long way since then. Well, 2 young men came in for dinner. Seasoned drivers, they said. Over 10,000 hours between them in Lake Leith alone. They'd been out all day salvaging parts from a riverboat wreck and worked up a fierce hunger, they said. They ordered the whole menu, without even looking. It was a short menu in those days. I sat 'em right here and went back to the kitchen. Sam was at the next table doing a Sudoku or drinking malt liquor, his usual routine at the time. An hour later, I was cleaning up when Sam came bursting into the kitchen. Ida, he said, kind of frantic, these drivers are still hungry. Bring 'em another course. And I said, they already ordered the whole menu. Sam said, make something new. Keep making up dishes, whatever. Just keep bringing out food. So I did until the small hours of the morning. I made up so many new dishes that night I could have read a book. And it was good, inspired. But I was working so hot and fast at the burning edge of inspiration, I didn't think to write any of it down. And I was so wrecked with exhaustion the next day, I knew I couldn't remember what all I'd done in the kitchen. Sam thought we could take a photograph of the leftovers, but we couldn't get the lighting right, so we just shellacked the whole table. Now, when I need inspiration for the menu, I come look here and think about all those ingenious dishes I threw together for those divers. Of course, they didn't pay their full bill. Heard one of them complaining to the other, let's just pay half and let him charge the other half to whatever demon in the kitchen kept making up food faster than we can ask for it. But all worked out. Things never really turned around since then. This place is actually pretty popular now. The success in our expanded menu inspired Sam too. He started bringing back the most magnificent ingredients from his nightly dives. I better get to work. Stay right here, sweetie. I'll bring you out a treat on my way back. Well, buddy, I guess you're the catch of the day, the one and only. So what are you? You look like, well, some kind of fish, I guess. Kind of little mopey guy, huh? Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. Smell like kind of dusty, dry. Where the hell have you been swimming? Skin feels like sandpaper. Well, she'll figure something out. I think I'll call you Silent Gray Fish. Welcome to Salmonida's, the one and only Silent Gray Fish. Hope you enjoy your stay. I mean, not too much. You ever seen a creature like me before? You're pretty far down there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first. Except there were 2 divers who went before me. Long ago. Maybe that was before your time. How old are you anyway, I wonder? They ate here once, back in the bad old days. 2 young guys, could have been brothers maybe. I was over in the corner with my coffee and crossword. I hadn't been able to catch a thing, so I'd have just fried up something from frozen. Well, these guys are hungry enough to eat it and ask for more, and they did at least as much talking as eating. See, like I said, they were divers. And like I said, they might have been brothers. They had kind of a rivalry going between them or something. Ida was about to write up their check, but I slipped calmly and quietly into the kitchen for a minute and told them to just keep bringing out food. I figured they wouldn't notice, caught up in their boasting as they were, and I wanted to listen. They went back and forth for hours about all the deep and dangerous dives they'd been on, new tunnels they discovered, all weird creatures they'd encountered at the weirdest depths of Lake Leith. It was like a dance. No, like a boxing match. Each story went deeper than the last, and I listened to every word of it. Memorized every description of every tunnel and diving route they discovered. That's my map now, you see? For 15 years I've been using routes those 2 young divers discussed right there at that table. I could write a guidebook to the depths of this lake, but I don't dare. Someone would steal my good diving spots, and then where would we be? See, people come here from all over just to try our daily catch because they know it's unique. Ain't you proud? Since I can't write any of it down, I just preserved that table when they had their meal so I can look at it to jog my memory. Like they were eating pickled crab when they talked about that shipwreck full of salamanders. Pretty clever, huh? It's my own secret code. I'll be straight with you, Silent Gray Fish. There's one feature of this arrangement that I find unsettling. In fact, I lose a decent amount of sleep over it. I told you these boys were competing, right? One-upping each other, I mean, getting wilder and more adventurous as they traded tales. Well, I navigate mostly in the dark down there, just going by touch and a kind of mental picture I can construct from their detailed boasts. And every time I explore a new diving spot from those recollections, I have to weigh it against the risk that I'm headed right into a dangerous falsehood. One of those men could have felt for a moment like he was losing some ground in their little duel, so he could have slipped in a fake one in there. Maybe told a fib about some dive he went on and found a colony of blind shrimp living in a discarded refrigerator. And when I get down there, my diving bell cracks open on a sharp rock where he said that fridge would be, and that is the end of Sam and Ida's. Be honest, that possibility puts the fear of death in me every time I touch water. Hey Sam, good haul tonight? Well, see what she can make of it. Pretty good, I think. I hit some trouble down by the narrow tunnel. Some kind of fast-growing freshwater barnacles just about sealed her up. I picked away for half an hour before I gave up and went around the other way. But I got the catch of the day, that's the important part. That's what people travel for. What's a catch today? This here's a silent gray fish, mopey sandpapery old fish. I don't know how she'll fix him, but that sandpapery quality ought to do something for, what do they call it, mouthfeel? Will you stay for a drink? Got a dark rum that goes well with coffee. I think we're about to leave, but thanks. Oh, just passing through. Hey, aren't we all? Oh, she got your food ready. Y'all enjoy your meal, all right? I'm hungry. Oof, I don't feel lonely for the first time in this whole game. Now I do, now that Shannon is broken away. But that was interesting. It was like one moment of...
world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures and my hopes are placed beyond the blue. Many friends and kin have gone on before, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? Angel.
I hope we didn't leave Blue anywhere. Can't imagine we would have. See that? Just looks like a swirling mess of garbage, doesn't it? Well, that's what it is. I don't know why trash seems to collect right here of all the spots in the lake. It's always been that way. Everyone just navigates around it, like it was an island or something. I think I see some desks and chairs swirling around the edge there. Those all-in-one desks like they have in schools, if I remember right. It's been a few years since I saw the inside of one. They must have washed down from somewhere. I've never known there to be a school on the lake. Oh, there was the Gemini School of Beauty. It was run by sisters, Cassie and Paula, indistinguishable except for their haircuts, but I wouldn't think they would have used desks like that. We used to stop there most every night to let someone off for a cheap haircut. Student stylists, you know. They spared many a sailor the pain of a botched do-it-yourself-do. But I guess they got in deep to the power company. Those blow dryers and curling irons burn a lot of coal. It's a shame they had to close down. The haircuts are gone, but the hair keeps growing. Yeah, this cluttered place makes a decent local museum. It's a good history as I could ever tell. It's as good a history as I could ever tell. We arrived at a small houseboat neighborhood that sometimes hosted concerts for the pleasure of its residents, where Clara was scheduled that night to perform. Junebug and Johnny watched the show from the dockyard with the others. Okay, well, I thought this section was an hour. Apparently, I'm wrong. Ooh, a theremin. Oh. I remember this. I told you... Yeah, you don't have to say it. Only because it's always true. She played at the flower shop Cyrano opened. He was having trouble with his tape machine, so she just droned out on the lap steel. He got really into it, and he went on for, like, forever. Everyone was falling asleep. Not everyone. I remember the air was warm, perfumed. You were playing with some petals you found on the floor, and I was looking at the ceiling. I remember the ceiling was glass. During the week, that room was a greenhouse. I don't know where they put all the plants when they had bands in. Maybe outside if the weather was nice? It was nice that night. Warm, smelled like spring. I remember the folding chairs. So uncomfortable. But I guess it was their only option. They had to pack up everything during the week so there'd be room to display the flowers. Wow, look at Ezra. He's rapt. Yeah, he's really into it. So, we were talking about him earlier at the gas station. Sure, I haven't forgotten Cricket. Cool. Yeah, I know. And any, what do you think? About Ezra traveling with us for a while? We were in the back, kind of looking around, people watching. I remember a girl playing a video game. She was really getting into it. The sound was leaking out of her cheap headphones a bit, mingling with Cyrano's drone, and you thought you recognized the music. I remember it was a driving game. We couldn't see the screen directly, but it was reflected in her glasses. And she was sharply rocking back and forth, hugging corners, I guess, and sometimes she sort of jut out one of her shoulders forward like she was drifting. I would have been content just to sit in that folding chair and drift on Cyrano's lap steel sound waves, but you were feeling restless, so we went out for a walk. If I sound hesitant or something, it's just... When we met, we were nothing, just these little gray shadows. And we grew and filled in, but we all did that together? Ezra is sure he's just a kid, but he's already a person. What would that do to our system, our chemistry? We stepped outside into the warm night air. There was a horse tied up in the parking lot. He wanted to go find him some food. We wandered between some low houses and came to an empty street. Hey, I got the masters for the new record back from Lazar. They're okay, but What? You listened to them without me? You were at the pet shop. I didn't think I could tear you free. Oh, okay. Anyway, there's a few spots where the strings distorted a little, and the whole thing has way too much reverb. But overall, it sounds pretty good. The new drum machine fits right into the mix. Nice. The only question is how to do it live. I can't control the drum machine and sing and dance at the same time, and you got your hands full of keytar. We stepped into a 24-hour convenience store. I remember the radio was playing some old Patsy Cline, right? Or was it Connie Smith? The clerk was reading one of those conspiracy/celebrity gossip/Bigfoot sighting newspapers. We bought a small bag of carrots for the horse. The horse ate the carrots slowly and glumly. They're beautiful animals, horses. Everyone seems to agree. I think it's because they always look so sad. We got back to the greenhouse just as Clara was tuning up. She relaxed her shoulders, took a deep breath, raised both hands into their precise positions, and the room started shaking. Clara hit a note that made the glass rattle in symphony at a perfect 2 octaves lower. She looked like a sorceress, tearing down the building with an effortless wave and incredible focus, coaxing the empty air into some kind of moaning, rattling demon. That's the thing about the theremin. It's the only instrument you never touch. I mean, you touch it to make it stop making sound. You could see a wave of concern propagating through the greenhouse. People looking up at the trembling glass ceiling, looking at each other to see if anyone else was worried, trying to catch Clara's eye and discern if she was doing it on purpose or not, if she was really trying to bury us all in glass. I'm just saying, maybe we could use a third pair of hands up there. Oh. Think you could teach that kid to play a drum machine? Ma'am, I could teach a dog to play a drum machine. Well, that'll be our backup plan. It was a tense 5 minutes. We, the audience, alternated between fearing for our lives and lamenting hers that could have given her the kind of emotional experience to play this devastating song. Then slowly, gently, Clara's hands came to rest. The theremin went quiet, the glass stopped rattling, and the room relaxed, unharmed. Man, this is just really slowly built up, but it's getting heavy. I mean, it's been getting heavy, but it's heavy now. I met a photographer once. I mean, one in particular. She even took my portrait. I can't imagine why. She said it would immortalize me. That was a metaphor, of course. She meant I'd never be forgotten. As she was disembarking, not far from here actually, the film fell out of her bag and was borne away by the current. I was working on deck at the time. She shot me a sad, apologetic glance, but I wasn't bothered. It's no shame to be forgotten. Are we actually getting back to the 0? Can we finally make the delivery? Sometimes I wish we were closer. There were shots closer like this, but then again, I suppose how removed we are from the situation compounds that feeling of loneliness, which is what I realize every time they give us one of these little shots that's a little bit closer. I'm like, oh, there's people here, and then it pulls back, and I'm like, oh, I'm alone again. What's this place like? Dogwood Drive? It's in a small town, or I really don't know. I got the manifest the old man has in his truck here. Lissette's Antiques, mail order delivery, no return address, shipping address 5 Dogwood Drive, packing list. And it's just numbers. I guess the inventory numbers for the antiques he was supposed to be delivering. Anyway, I'm glad you're coming with us. Yeah, I'm always eager to see more of the country, and I enjoy the company. I'll have to find a bus or a train to get on to Nashville by evening. Well, they have buses everywhere, right? Or hey, I could drive you to Nashville. Seems I have a truck now. Only, how are we gonna get it up these stairs? That is quite a staircase. There's something we could do with a rope? Sure, I could think of a few things. Nothing that'll get that truck up a staircase, though. It's like we're making the rest of this trip on foot. Is it safe to just leave the truck here? I don't even know what's in there. What if it's too much to carry? We've been loading and unloading gear since stars were young, or since the stars were young. We're our own roadies, right? We've got experience, or expertise. All right, Cricket, let's get this delivery packed and tied into bundles. We're hiking it upstairs. What's in there? Antiques, I guess. Antiques. Yeah, antiques are... It's like junk, but people pay for it. Oh? Sorry, I guess you'll be taking the bus after all. That's okay. Well, it'll be an adventure. Tired? Don't worry, lady. We're almost there. I am tired. Is that Blue? I don't think that's Blue. I think those are both cats. What happened to Blue? How was there another one? I thought the last one was the last one. It says 34 minutes. You better be for real. Well, here it says an hour. And here it says an hour and a half. Okay, so anywhere between a half an hour and an hour and a half. Great. Yeah, it reminds me of Oxenfree also, but I remember not liking any of the dialogue options in Oxenfree, or having any connection with any of the characters. Alright. I feel like I would have gotten a little bit more out of this if I split it up. If I didn't try to just bully my way through it. Yeah, but I still read out loud, like, pretty fast. I would think. Oh, we're so close. I'm not late, am I? Maybe she's delivering a video? Nah, we don't start for a few more minutes. You can leave your tape with Slow-Mo Crow. Tape? Oh, sorry. I'm Maya. Right, the traveling artist. Welcome. I'm Emily. I, work here. Great. Rita says you're the producer? Oh, did she? I guess so. I do a little bit of everything. Yeah, I know the feeling. You weren't around earlier at the lunch thing? No, I don't live in town. I just come into work on the station. Really? That's quite a hike, isn't it? I know some shortcuts. Okay. We better get started? You look busy. No, it's okay. I think we're about ready to start the broadcast. Oh, should I go sit down? Oh, not just yet. Rita does a little intro. Got it. Okay. Quite a crowd in here. Really? That's like 7 or 8 of us, I think? Yeah, well, for this town. I've barely seen anyone all day. Oh, yeah, ghost town. Yeah, kind of. Okay, I'll check if Rita's ready. You can just hang out back here somewhere. We'll let you know when it's time to come on set. Great, thanks for having me. You too. I mean, you know what I mean. Ugh, why am I so awkward with visitors here? Just used to seeing the same 12 people day in and day out, I guess. Oh, this is new. Looks like the ceiling is holding up okay, just the usual leaks. Ben and Bob working on a project. We found that radio in the woods a week or 2 ago. I cleaned the circuits with rubbing alcohol and left it in the sun. Seems like it was working okay again, so why are they taking it apart? Looks like I just made it in before the sky broke open. If it gets any worse, we might be stuck in town tonight. At least the floor is staying dry. My left boot has a hole. Oh, right. Cyrano's here to help with the weather report. That should be cool. Elmo gets a lot more into it when he has some noise to vibe on. The video data bank. It used to be on the other side of the room and the couch was in this corner. We moved it here where the ceiling's least leaky. It's further from the windows too, so the sunlight doesn't bleach the labels. So much of archiving is just playing hide and seek with the weather. Slow-Mo Crow, keeping an eye on the control board. Keep up the good work, Mo. Oh, James left the patch wired up on the image processor. Nice. Maybe there'll be time to play with it after the show. Miss you, Cross-Eye. Okay, ready when you are. How does it look outside? Gross. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Saturn is in retrograde. What does that even mean? Yep. Think it'll let up? I guess we'll see what Elmo says. My poor tomatoes. Okay, in 3, 2. Hi, it's Rita. This is your evening broadcast, 8192. Wow, it's really raining out there. Damn, I can hear it from here. We have a few leaks. Put some pots and bowls underneath them. Thanks, Ron, for lending us your extra pots and bowls. I hope you had a good day, despite the weather. Although it was really nice earlier, right? I had a good day today. I met a new friend. She's gonna join us in about a minute or so. Maybe you saw her earlier around lunch, or if you didn't meet her, then you'll meet her in a minute. Or if you met her already, but you still want to hang out, I'm sure there's plenty that we can talk about. Wow, so this is 8192, is that right, Emily? What is she talking about? That's a lot of broadcasts. I came in around the 5, so I've only been around for about half of them. And back then in the fives, let me see, I did Night Noise, and we had the Swap Show and the Bird Show, and people were just coming in and dropping off tapes all the time, and, well, now it's just the evening broadcast. But it's not like, I'm not saying we're in decline or anything like that. I love the evening broadcasts. I think it was the first show we had on here. It was the first show not produced by the power company. It was the first community show, yeah. Thanks, Dav. That nasty paranoid propaganda. Technically, the first broadcasts were Aunt Connie, not worth remembering. Yeah, so it's the spine of the situation. Or maybe it's the heart. Or it's the skin. What part of the WEVP body do you think this is? Why don't you come on by and tell us about it? We're going to be here for another 30 minutes or so. Or if you don't want to brave the storm, you can always give us a call. Same number as always, 270-216-5556. Okay, so we're going to start with a tape. This is an old one. It's one of mine, but maybe you haven't seen it. Or if you've seen it, it's been a while, so maybe you've forgotten. Shit. What? She asked me to queue up her tape. Un pueblo de nada. Where is it? I don't know. It's probably still shelved. I'll find it. Queue. This tape should be on a shelf back here. Emily scans the shelves of videotapes. Oh, what's this? Emily pulls out an unlabeled tape. To herself, absently. Impossible to say. Not much tape in there, though. Old bumpers? Louder for others' benefit. Someone should come in here and label all these. We should put this all in chronological order. Although I guess it's hard to remember sometimes, the order of things. And some of these tapes were made at the same time. Or we started one video and then started another in the middle and then came back later and... time is out of joint. Like sweeping a beach. Oh, wait a minute. Ron said he's start... oh, hang on. Something fell behind the shelf here. Emily pulls a grimy tape case from behind the shelf. Oh, gross, it's damp. She opens the case. It's empty. Ah, I keep running over my blanket. And then when I pull it out, my chair goes away. Ralph borrowed it for his screening, so it's probably with the others. Here, Aunt Connie reframed, Bare Waist Studies, Death of an Airfield. Un pueblo de nada. Aha! What would you all do without me? Here you go, Mo. Hold off on playing this until Rita's done setting it up. Thanks, babe. It looks like Conway. Ready when you are, Rita. Some people that lived here a long time ago, before the company town, before the airstrip, like over 100 years ago. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it. Ready, Emily?
El pueblo de Nada llegó a caballo en octubre y su primer experimento fue liberar a los caballos.
Wonder what Maya thinks of the doc.
Antes de eso, de algún lugar en América Central. Pero ninguno de los que llegaron aquí habían vivido en América Central.
This is cool. Have you seen it before?
Se reconstruyó a sí misma.
Is she being genuine right now? Just making small talk?
En los años entre
Honestly, it makes me kind of sleepy. I know what you mean. I used to date a filmmaker. He worked in a similar style, slideshow gothic. He did stuff for the History Channel, like really dry shows about war, the banality of the trenches. It's not a bad way to learn about history, though. Can't remember where the music for this video came from. Rita, no, Sherry bought it. Brought it in. She found a crate of old tape reels in the hangar. Must have been from the power company. Maybe some music to pipe over the loudspeakers in town to keep the spirits high. Maybe it is history, right? Or is it just a story? Seems kind of sad now. I guess it's kind of a memorial. Those things are always sad. A memorial to the people who used to live here. Or is there even a difference? Although, now the tape is just here, on a shelf. Every once in a while we dust it off and shuffles around the airwaves again like an old dog. Sorry, did I say something wrong? Oh no, I'm sorry. I just have some weird shit going on in my head tonight. You know what I mean? Sure, it's okay. Sorry, I spaced out. Don't worry about it. You should... Oh, should I go sit? Yeah, it's almost over.
Eran una comunidad científica.
That's...
Ellos creían que los comportamientos humanos.
Next up is Maya's interview. Link. So where are you staying tonight? Oh, here in town. Oh, good. Yeah. Even before the storm came in, I thought it'd be nice to get some rest before the long hike back to the highway. Ron offered his loft? What? Well, he said I could sleep in his loft. Oh, honey, he's talking his barn. Ron, nobody wants to sleep in your barn. It's not haunted. But it is haunted. Bob got some pretty clear voices in there on his tape recorder. He wanted to have a seance, but couldn't round up enough brave souls to go all the way around the table. You'll stay at my place. Oh, thanks. With that storm coming, I should probably find somewhere to stay out here tonight. Maybe I'll just sleep here in the studio. Do you need anything? Actually, do you have an extra toothbrush? It'd be nice to sleep under the stars. I think I do, actually, yeah. Oh my god, I've been in the woods, you know? Right. I actually used a twig this morning, kind of chewed up one end. No stars tonight, though. I've done that. Really? I'm disappointed. I thought I invented it. Even better, you can chew on some pine needles. It really freshens your breath. I mean, it's not perfect. Wow, that's roughing it. Just close your eyes and pretend, I guess. Exactly. And even then, it's just not the same as real toothpaste. What the hell are they talking about? Oh, okay. Hi, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, that was from, like, several years ago. It's several years old. I can't remember exactly. I enjoyed it very much. Oh, thank you, Maya. What's next? I brought in a tape. Okay, you good? All queued up. I'm gonna check on the boys. What the hell are they doing? Ben and Bob are seated on the couch, poking at the electronic innards of a radio. So then it won't mute while it scans between stations. Oh, okay, because that's where they live, right? No, you just want that constant static noise. Right, the noise, that's where they live. They don't live anywhere, dude, they're ghosts. Okay, why does it matter when you tune the radio? Well, it's like the soil in your garden. You need rich soil, right? Mashed up rotted leaves and stuff, like compost. Oh, hey, Em, how's the show? What the hell are you doing? What are you doing to that poor radio? Working on a new ghost box. This guy Frank wrote about it in his newspaper? The Paranormal Periodical. Ah, that's Sylvia's. Frank's is the Ghost Gazette. The radio crackles as it scans rapidly across the spectrum. Snippets of voices mixed with colored noise and unfamiliar interference patterns. Did you hear that? That was definitely a voice from beyond the grave. Sounded like, I clearly heard dogwood in there. Oh yeah, kinda. Sounded more like frogwood to me. What the hell is frogwood? Man, I don't tell the ghost what to say. Did you hear that, Emily? Must have been dogwood. Dogwood, of course. I guess it doesn't matter. Ghost voices don't really come out till you play back the recording later. They only exist in recordings, like a copy without an original, a mirror reflecting something that isn't in the room. Eerie. Like the mounds. The burial mounds here in town? You think they're haunted? No. Or, sure, probably. But I mean, they're like the reflection. The people who made them lived hundreds of years ago. The whole society is long gone. And now we just have these lingering echoes without any trace of context. Yeah, that is kind of eerie. So the ghosts speak and we can't hear, but the tape recorder can hear it. Is that right? I don't know. Sometimes I think it's more like the recording itself is a ghost. Like, that's what ghosts are. Recordings of events that didn't happen. When something keeps leaving new marks even after it's gone. False memories. The bowls on the floor are getting full pretty quickly. I hope somebody's planning to empty these. Somebody else. This is not sustainable. James has been working on this circuit diagram for a while now. The diagram has been up on the chalkboard for at least a couple of months. It's a schematic for some essential component of the image processor. Nobody understands it but James. That's the point. He's trying to clean it up and simplify it a bit. He'll publish the simplified diagram and everyone can build an image processor. Meanwhile, it's like hieroglyphics in here. The schematic seems to get more eerie the longer James is away. He understands it, which keeps it tethered to the realm of the human. Otherwise, it might as well be lichen. I love the oscilloscope. You can plug any signal in there and it shows up on the screen. Sound waves, video signals, even just a weak electrical signal with no other purchase on the senses. You can inspect electronic sounds that are usually too low frequency to detect. Sometimes it just takes a little tuning. James used this to show me the guests in our wiring here in town. There's a low hum, barely even a hum because it's too slow to be audible. A slow, gentle oscillation that offsets every other electrical signal in town. James hasn't been able to figure out what causes the hum, but it's okay. It's too subtle to cause any real problems for us, it's just there. It's Ron's big moment. So, okay, Ron, anything you want to tell us about that tape? Everything on that tape was wild. Really? Everything? Wild stuff indeed. Even the horses? Everything on that tape was wild. Planes used to leave these thick black marks on the runway at our little airstrip. I guess it was from coming in so fast on such a short runway. Maybe cheap tires, I don't really know. Hey, Nightcast! Were the horses wild? I thought those were the horses here. Oh, the neighbors? We call the horses here the neighbors. No, I didn't recognize that one. I don't think there are any wild horses anymore. Really? How could that be? Oh, well, they've all been domesticated. Are the neighbors domesticated? We don't own them, no. They're, feral? The tracks would bleach out in the sun, but then the next time it rained, they'd appear again as oily after images on the runway. Now it's been decades since anyone's landed there, but those marks still come out when it rains. Oh, right. In your documentary, you said that the people who used to live here had freed their horses. Exactly, but you can free your pet cat, but it won't turn back into a panther. Right. It's kind of haunting. Kind of a ghost, like Ben was saying. But everything's a ghost around here these days. It's a ghost town with people still living in it, against all reason. Despite all the pain in this town's history. The Pueblo did not have vanished. The airstrip went bankrupt. The company town buckled under guilt and exploitation. Even the first people here, all we have left of them is their graves. What about the dogs? Oh, yes, Ron. Was the dog wild? Everything on that tape was wild. I just hope our ending isn't so dramatic. Maybe we can just decline peacefully into irrelevance, and then one day stop, completely unnoticed. That sounds nice. It didn't look wild to me. I guess it's a matter of perspective. I'm not sure I agree, but now it is time for the weather. Thanks again, Ron. We're hanging on long past our expiration date. Well, the weather should be pretty wild. I can hear it for myself right now. Yeah, getting pretty intense out there. Do you get storms like this a lot? More and more. Oh, of course. And then, of course, there's the actual ghost. All right, here's Elmo with the weather report, and lucky us, we also have Cyrano Cole, who stopped by to add some drama, musically. I hear he's going to be at the end of he's going to be at the Rum Colony later tonight if you need a cocktail after the show. So let's go live to Elmo for the weather report. Oh, is Elmo ready? I should make sure the camera's pointed in the right direction. Oh, good. Ah, crap. Cool, my socks are getting wet. I love to have wet socks. Is that really happening? Are we about to get drenched? I keep clicking past the first whatever it is. Should I move the camera? No? Elmo and Cyrano are killing the weather report. Hey! This is so trippy. How did he work out those ratios of oil, water, and dyes? It seems so precise, the way he drips them in one little half drop at a time. Must have been a lot of trial and error. Just staring at the circle of light on the wall. Drip, drip, drip. Where do you get your supplies, Elmo? Ben has a guy and... Oh wait, you mean the projection stuff? I mail-ordered these candle dyes. This other stuff is just mineral oil. You can get it at the drugstore. The projector... Somebody just left it here, man. Incredible. Actually, it was that girl who does the pirate video stuff, you know? Jamming our signal? Weaver? Yeah, our resident ghost. Ghost, huh? You really think she's dead? Does it matter? Maybe not. Yes, you're right. A ghost is just an absent person, whether they're dead or not. That's what I think. Hey, you think she'll get us tonight? It's about time, right? He's right, we're about due. Plus, Saturn's in retrograde. So I hear. Not that she keeps a strict schedule, but it's never longer than a month or two between... Oh, what does Mimi call them? I know they're bad for the general vibe around here, but can I be honest? Emily nods in mock gravity. Kind of like it when she busts in and takes over our signal. It's like a log falling on the road. Reminds you that this all used to be trees. Interventions, that's what Mimi calls it. How does she do it? Her performances were cool, though. I never saw her perform, but I heard about it. Oh yeah, I saw her do it a few times. I was into it. For a while, we thought she had a tower somewhere, but she's even jamming the local cable transmissions. She did lectures, right? Yeah, you could say that. I thought of them as storytelling sessions. She talked for hours and shuffled through slide after shapes, numbers, weird constellations. Who knows what any of it means? Ralph and Sherry went and checked every cable in town for, what would they call it? This was her projector. Right, I don't know where she got it though. Still works really well. I got a spare bulb at a resale shop, but I haven't had to use it yet. Taps, splices, injection sites, places where Weaver could be overriding our signal. They didn't find anything. It's a mystery. That's why it bothers people so much. But to me, that just makes it more dignified somehow. What happened to the rest of her stuff? I bet her slides are still in here in the studio. Maybe with the posters? Sherry has all Weaver's old notebooks, I know that. She keeps them in her archive, you know, that big blue filing cabinet with the daisies painted on. Yeah, anyway, the really hard part to find is these two pieces of glass. They have to be paired very precisely. I had to get these from the clock store in Glasgow. That's where they came from, clock faces. Thanks for the tips, dude. Anytime, dude. Back to you, Rita. Thanks, Elmo and Cyrano. So next we have a selection from the video databank. You're gonna like this one. Maya, this one's about caves. Ooh. Yeah, local caves. We play this one a lot. It's pretty cool. Oh, but we have a phone call. Should we get it now or should we wait? We'll get it now, okay. Hello, WEVP. Hope you all packed a lunch. Looks like this is going to be a long one. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Snap and then a chitter. Did you know Weaver? Few caws and a caw. Oh, really? Was she nice to you? Well, that's good to hear. You make her sound so normal. Talk to anyone else and it's like she had a second head. One of our little mysteries, like the out-of-towner. Oh, really? Did you know him well? Couple caws and then a pause, as if more are coming, but they never do. Wow, I had no idea. It was terrible what happened to him. Justice, someday. What a waste. Sad. Well, have fun. I'm gonna see if Jeff is done. Oops. Crap. Well, I blew past the first one. And then I thought maybe there was only 1 or 2 left, so then I just blew past like 6 additional ones, so we just didn't get to read that. Damn it, I have a bad feeling this situation won't last. Soon I'll be scrounging for a tarp to protect the video data bank. Couch is getting a little damp, but Ben and Bob don't seem to mind. Probably too wrapped up in their project. Bob had some theories about Weaver's broadcasts. He was considering how she might be tapping into our wires here in town. He built a model, like proof of concept. This big metal box you could wire up and use to tape over our signal. It actually worked, but the thing needed too much power to run. Even a car battery could only keep it going for a few seconds. Weaver's broadcast just loops and loops, sometimes for hours. Consolidated Power doesn't pay any attention to this town anymore, but they still have us on a strict energy budget. There's no way she's plugged into the grid. Oh my god, he's still going. Ron's sleeping. Shit, the line's dead. Phone lines are such a mess up here. Hello? Was that the storm or was it the damn phone lines? Man, they're really flaky. Business as usual. He has a really soothing voice. That's Jeff. He's a regular caller. He's asleep. Oh, well, let him sleep. Okay, let's play the tape. This is cave art. It's a classic around here. Looks like Mo's got this one all queued up. Way to go, Mo. So if Weaver is a ghost, by some agreed-upon definition in mechanics, that means WEVP TV is haunted. Should we be doing something about that? Aren't you supposed to, like, have an exorcism or something? I mean, you can't just leave a place haunted. That would be negligence. I miss her, though. Yes, there are good ghosts and bad ghosts, like spiders. Good in the garden, bad in the shower. A loud crashing noise from outside wakes Ron up. What the hell? What was that? I'll check it out. Yikes, should we go help? Oh no, oh, the tape's over. What do you think? That was great. I like that one, kind of, here we go. That sounded pretty close. Oh no, is the power out or just the lights? I don't know, I'll take a look. Maybe a fuse blew in the relay or something. Some scared rat chewed through a wire. Abandoned ship! Just kidding. Guess I'll take a look around and see if anything's smoking. If it survives the night. Maybe we should call... Nah, the phones are definitely dead now. I guess it's up to me to figure out what's going on here. Is that a... No, of course not. Lightning flashes in the dark make it look like a slideshow out there. My summer vacation in the ghost town. They're still picking away at their project in the dark as the storm bears down on us. So what else is new? This is, oops, poor thing, she's soaked. Oh wait, what? Are you having trouble with... Oh, I spoke too soon. I thought your power was out. Yeah, it just came back on? Weird? Good though. Oh, you made it in the storm. Oh, I'd never miss the evening broadcast. To be honest, it's the only time I get to share my work. Nikki's still carrying a torch for the out-of-towner. Sure, of course, that's great. Wow, it's pouring out there. I think they have some paper towels over by the set. Oh, thank you. All ready to go? Ready. Some of the studio wiring is in puddles now. That's dangerous, right? Nobody else seems concerned about it. Okay, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that. Okay, the ceiling is falling apart. Doesn't bode well for the roof. God, this is just getting so stressful. Now we enter the cultural section of tonight's program. Did you fix it? It just came back on its own. It'll take time for the equipment to warm back up and we'll be on the air again. Spooky. It's a disaster out there. The neighbor's barn is basically underwater. Wow, just completely flooded. I passed Ron on the way in. He's gonna take a look and see if there's anything he can do. Will they be okay? Ron knows what he's doing. He used to be a firefighter. It's a little bit different though, right? I guess. Nikki hands some wet paper towels to Rita. Oh, thanks. Nikki pulls a journal out of her jacket pocket. I brought my work. Oh, good. Nikki reads her poetry. It's a weekly feature of our broadcast. Oh, great. I look forward to hearing it. Oh, yeah, I guess I just hope we can keep going. We lost power a little while before, right? Better get started, then. To the camera, reading. To the out-of-towner. What eagle flew you to your final bed? It was not men who brought you there to sleep. The men who left you bloodied, then fled, had chosen mud and muddy-watered creek. Did wild turkeys gobble, dote, and care, and wipe the moss beneath your eyelids clear? Did cardinals pull twigs out from your hair, and wash your hands and feet, and trim your beard? When wood ducks dressed you in your resting gown, and pigeons fashioned shoes from leaves and bark, who then sewed flowers into a burial crown, the one who made your headdress was a hawk. The men who broke your body, where were they? The vultures stayed home on your funeral day. Emily, look at the monitor! Dude, be quiet, we're live right now. No, we're not, look! Oh, that's not our broadcast. Damn, there she is. Elmo was right. What's wrong? It's her, it's Weaver. Oh, really, tonight? Sorry about this, Maya. What's going on? Local prankster. She jams our signal every once in a while, whenever the stars align. Prankster? Not the word I would use. Damn, so what do you do about it? Just wait until she's done. We've never been able to stop her from jamming us. We don't even know how she does it. We should be back on in a minute, though, don't worry. I don't understand this at all. Okay, so it seems like there's a whole nother gigantic section. Maybe that's the half hour? Okay, I don't understand. Yeah, so there's interludes and then main segments. Yeah. I guess I just didn't understand. I don't understand how that relates to how long it takes to beat it. Okay. Well, regardless, it doesn't matter. I can't read more today. We're definitely gonna finish this, but I might take a little break from it. I assumed that today would be the last of it, but I can't make that happen. So we might take a little break from it. I think it would have been smarter for me to do that anyway, break it up with something a little bit lighter. What did I see today on the Switch? Turnip Boy commits tax evasion or something like that? I don't know. I need to get to some more console games. I got so many console games that we gotta check out. But anyway, I'm gonna call it here for tonight and go eat dinner. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I will be back Tuesday. I think I should be back on Thanksgiving if anybody's really bored, but we'll see how that goes. Keep it loosey-goosey. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.